Next on BNI Mid-America TV, it's the Gold Club Member Spotlight Show. Gold Club members have sponsored 6 or more people into BNI, and they are here to share their secrets with you. If you want to improve your inviting techniques, then this is the show for you. And now, our host, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome to another episode of the Gold Member Club Spotlight. I have here with me Jay Mix out of the Effingham chapter. His chapter is called Rise, and Jay is with Country Financial, and he has been a Gold Club member for 1 whole year. This is awesome. He's literally celebrating his first year in the Gold Club right now. So excited to have you on, Jay. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. For those of you who are listening on the podcast right now, what Jay was actually just showing us was his Gold Club business card holder that he got when he was inducted into the Gold Club 1 year ago, back around Christmas time in December of 2019 was his induction into the Gold Club. So Jay, share with us a little bit. Let's start with talking about your business, Country Financial. Tell us a little bit about how long you've been with them and what seat you hold in your chapter.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I've been with Country Financial now, starting my 11th year. And so it's been a fantastic journey, great company with great support. I'm so thankful for the opportunity with Country Financial. It's been a great fit for me. I love people. I love working with people. I love helping them solve problems and maybe uncovering needs that they didn't know they have. And so one of the things about insurance is that when bad things happen, I can kind of come in with a check, so I help provide resources. And I think I really enjoy that. But yeah, so I hold the property casualty chair in the chapter for home, auto, farm, liability. I mentioned to my chapter, hey, I insure your toys, so boats and campers and those things. And so, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, but I really focus right out of the gate on liability because that's where we now know that the biggest risk to someone's financial security can come through one of those major liability claims. So that's where I start with new clients, and that's where I start each annual review with current clients. Is we work through that liability, make sure we're working from the top down from those really big claims that can happen. So, and people seem to really appreciate that. So enjoy it.
That's awesome, Jay. And one of the things that people who are watching or listening right now may not realize about you is you, to my knowledge, are one of the catalysts who really got this Effingham chapter up and running. It's something that BNI had been trying to get happening. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, I want to do this. And then less than a year later, you're in Gold Club, which I think is just so cool. So tell us, how did you go through that process of, first of all, finding out about BNI and going from finding out about it to becoming a Gold Club member in about a year or so?
Yeah, it is interesting. It's been an interesting ride. So a little bit about Country Financial. There are some of my peers in Country that have done really, really well in BNI. And so looking for another marketing opportunity, wanting to get involved with networking. So, I talked to those peers and they just basically knocked it out of the park and said, hey, BNI is responsible for 35% of my raw new business every year. That caught my attention. And so BNI wasn't on trial with me right out of the gate because the respected members that were peers of mine. And so I just got online and shot an email, and a lady by the name of Virginia Muskies reached out to me. Anybody heard of her? So yeah, we started a conversation and it led to me visiting the chapter. So I was the first person to reach out in our area, and I met Virginia at the Belleville chapter, brought a couple people with me, a couple of them. Matter of fact, one of the guys that went with me in 2018, it's 2019, excuse me. In 2019, went with me. He just joined this past year. It almost took him 2 years. So never give up on those prospects because it's all about timing. But yeah, it's just been, I made a list. I looked at the classifications and who did I know that were the kind of quality of business person that I wanted to work with. and I felt might be interested in growing their business. And I just went in and to their business, or I got them on Facebook, and yeah, I've actually sponsored 10 members. So, uh,
Wow.
yeah, I kind of like that. But we still have to grow. And so I'll still be knocking on doors, but I'm starting with people that I know and that I have a relationship with. And so that's really, I think, why we were able to build the chapter early, because like we all know, it's about relationships. So that's the key.
Absolutely. And would you say that during all of this prospecting, were you spending a ton of time during your week, or what, if you had to guess, how much time of your week were you spending looking for people or having conversations with people about visiting your BNI chapter that was getting up and running?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jenny, because it really doesn't take much time. It just takes a being intentional. And so, again, just knowing that BNI works. Number one, that's the key. We have to believe it in our hearts and know it in our minds, and then that's the catalyst to wanting to grow the chapter. And so, I would say anybody that's a part of the chapter, or kicking the tires on BNI, you have to first decide: do you want to grow? You have to start with you, and if you want to grow, then help your chapter grow. And so we all have two or three people that we know that probably need BNI, and so I really felt when I went to somebody, I wasn't just trying to sell them on BNI. I was wanting to give them an opportunity. And I didn't want them to decide. I didn't want to decide for them. So I wanted to get to them, let them know about BNI. Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to gain some influence in the community? Do you want to learn and grow and know how to network? And BNI has all of that. And so for the price of the membership, it's a deal. We know that. So it really became very easy, and it still is, for me to talk about BNI. It's an easy conversation for me.
I definitely agree with you on that, but that's also because I'm a Gold Club member myself. So, and
Preaching to
it,
the choir.
yeah, and it really, for me personally, the Gold Club membership came at a time when I had all of a sudden had this realization of, oh my gosh, I've sponsored 5 people. I'm
Yeah,
I'm only one away. And so
right.
2 weeks later, I was being inducted into the
There you
into the
go.
Gold Club, because it was something that I was like, well, if I'm this close, I may as well go experience it. Because once I knew that this existed and really started looking at who the members were, I was like, oh, these are a bunch of people that I already respect in BNI, and now
Right.
I get the chance to network with them more. And these are
Yes.
people who get it, right? And I'm
Yes.
putting air quotes around that for those of you who are listening right now. The Gold Club members really do get it.
They do.
So, Jay, what for you has been, now you unfortunately were inducted in December 2019. We went into global pandemic mode just a few short months later. And so we haven't really had an opportunity quite yet to fully experience the benefits of being a Gold Club member. But so far, what has been your experience of what do you love about being in the Gold Club?
Well, as you said, we've not gotten a lot of interaction with others. Really, the benefit has been more in my own chapter, because as the original president, um, it's been important for my members to see that I believe in what I'm saying and what I'm doing. And whenever we were still meeting live, I would raise my card member holder, not to show everybody that it was gold, but just to say, hey, here's our toolbox. I have this laid out on my desk. So part of giving referrals is part of how I do things. But there were those that would laugh at me, and they say, yeah, you're just showing that gold club, you're just flashing that gold thing at me. And I'm like, well, not really. But now that you mention it, who's next? So I'm like, who's going to be next? So that's kind of how the benefits really been more of the way that Gold Club has I hopefully set the standard and the pace in my chapter, that others will come join us in this club. And so, and then obviously once we get going again, we'll be able to network together more. But it's really been internal is where I've really seen the benefit. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. One of the things that I can share with you just from my own experience, because I've been a Gold Club member for about 5 years now, is when networking with other Gold Club members, what I have found, whether it's a one-on-one or at one of our Gold Club exclusive events, I have found that after talking to them, oftentimes I find all of a sudden I'm giving referrals to them and also receiving referrals from them. And
Wow.
both seem to be a much higher um, qualified referral than what you
Mhm.
might get from just about any other member, just because these are the kind of people who have influence over others. They know how to have a conversation such that by the end, they're sending people to me saying, hey, you really need to go hire Jennie Bellinger, right? And so at
Yeah.
least go have a conversation with her so that by the time I'm, you know, 20 minutes into a conversation with somebody, they're like, look, Mark, Bob, Jody, they told me I should come talk to you.
Right.
Right. And
Sure.
so basically now I just need to know, okay, how much is it? Right. So it's really great because I don't even necessarily have to have the sales conversation because they've already basically lent their credibility to me
Mhm.
through the
Yeah.
conversation that they had with the person before they sent them my way. So it's been very
Yeah.
beneficial for me to be a part of the Gold Club in that aspect as well. So
Sure. I
fingers
could
crossed
see
you
it
get to
almost.
experience that soon.
Yeah, I am too. So today I'm not the president of the chapter any longer, but I wanted to stay involved, and so I'm the power team coordinator. And so
Mm,
what I see the Gold Club, because of the members getting it factor and that level of understanding and almost working like a power team, even though we're not in the same chapter, but just the way that we can drive business and the intentionality, of those members, they wouldn't be where they're at. So it's pretty cool.
very true. Very true. Well, Jay, I so appreciate you taking time out of your super busy day to come share with us about your experience with Gold Club, with your experience about inviting visitors and helping them make a decision to join. I think that's absolutely awesome that what you've accomplished out in Effingham with your RISE chapter. By the way, tell us, what does RISE stand for?
That's interesting because when we were naming or coming up with the name and working with Victor at the time, we threw up Rise. And he just started getting so excited because he had his own Rise acronym that they were working on. And ours is, referrals increase success every day. And so that's kind of how that sifted out. But then Victor told us the acronym that they were working on, referrals, influence, structure, and education. So I get to tell that story to people, and it is funny how it developed. But we didn't have to convince Victor of our name; he was right in there with us. So that's the funny side of it. But yeah, we're referrals increase, success every day is Rise. So
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you again, Jay, for taking time out of your busy day to share your story with us here on BNI Mid America TV and podcast. We're so happy to have you here.
my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
For more information on how BNI can help you build your business, book your complimentary consultation with Virginia Moosekeith at discoverbnimitamerica.com. BNI Mid-America TV is brought to you by the Bergman Insurance Group, your trusted source for Medicare information, education, and enrollment. Be sure to check out the show notes for additional information on how to contact today's host or guest about their business, and thanks for watching.